Welcome to Conversations with Garmamie. I am joined by the toughest professional wrestler.
I've twisted an ankle once or twice, so I know about tough. Absolutely.
What happened?
I want to make up a fake wrestling story, but no, just the ice. Ottawa's terrible like that. So this is Dr.Bob, Bobby Chan. I'll go into the Dr.Bob nickname later. I don't think you've heard it.
I thought it was Bobby Virtue.
Yeah, Virtue Chan. I usually go by Chan, my real name, but
okay.
Virtue's nice little kayfabe Facebook name.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you concerned people at work might look you up and
family work? Yeah. I try to keep the wrestling talk to a minimum. But
why is that?
People make.
You're passionate about wrestling. Why do you have to restrict
I love it.
it?
Also, I got to figure out which way I'm looking at most.
You can look over there.
Always,
yeah.
mostly.
You can look whatever's natural. You can look over here, look over there.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
do whatever you want, man. I talk with my hands.
That Ricky Bobby moment there. Where, obviously it's got a little bit of stigma, unfortunately, and people will make brash decisions and judgments about your character. So I usually keep it a little bit on the down low. I've a good friend I met who actually comes to CFO Wrestling too. At one point, he was working with me. And I remember I was getting a ride back from him after work, and I don't know what came up, but something came up about the Super X show that we've talked a lot about, and then he got onto Abdul the Butcher, and then I got onto a few things, and found out he's a lifelong wrestling fan.
Of course.
And so since then, I finished that job quite a while ago, but it was an hour at work every day about talking something about
every
wrestling.
Day.
Probably. So
wow.
Some jobs, not so much. Even my current job right now, I've got somebody working there. He had two friends who kind of dabbled in wrestling as well, so he knows the scene a little bit.
Dabbled as in
indie wrestlers as well, and so it's it's funny. You meet people here and there. Obviously, met you through just a chance occurrence too, and
we met in the funniest. We can't get into the specifics, but it was hilarious.
I don't mind, but yeah.
We met in a government building.
Yeah.
We won't specify which building, but it was hilarious because it's like as soon as we started talking about wrestling, it's like I could see everyone in the room kind of.
Well, I was escorting 3 coworkers too, students,
I saw that,
and so I had to do watch the little kids, turn back to you, talk to you about your New Japan sweater or hoodie there, and then turn back.
Right.
And then, so trying to keep it low, but I don't see New Japan merch that much, so I got a little excited. But, of course, with all the Bullet Club and Hot Topics right now, it can be everywhere.
What does pro wrestling mean to you today? What does pro wrestling mean to you as a fan and as someone who's grown up with this sport?
I grew up with it. I think this is a pretty similar story, but a lot of people's, let's say, dads turned it on as a kid, and you kind of gravitated towards it, whether it be the Hulk Hogan's, the Ultimate Warriors, whoever it may be. You kind of picked that up as a kid and said, wow, that's really cool. And I know the whole younger generation is Rock and Stone Cold, which makes me feel really old. But, you watch it, and so I picked that up. And I hear a lot of fans, especially wrestlers too, sometimes, where they've been a fan, they kind of lost it for a few years, came back, rewatched it when something got popular, especially in the 90s, and I never really had a gap. There's been times where I haven't watched the WWE. Arguably now, too, I don't watch too much of it, but I've always been a fan. Whether I could find something in Japan, whether I could find tapes, whether I could lash onto an ROH or YouTube, just finding that whole range of different styles online. It's been amazing. And, now more than ever, I'm watching a lot more indie wrestling. I'm obviously...
Why is that? Why are you watching more indie?
The availability of it online, whether it be tapes, streaming, just YouTube, Dailymotion, all that stuff, the availability online is like nothing it's ever been before. I really, truly believe that the indies are at a resurgence now. Kind of, it hit its peak. It's gone down a little bit, but come right back up, and you can attribute that to NXT or whoever you want. But it's really getting to be big again. And so, I've fallen, as cheesy as it sounds, I've fallen in love with wrestling again and being involved in it now for the last 2 years, as I've been going to shows for over 10 years now, but being really involved with it a lot more closely. And
the heavens have fallen in love with what you've just said there.
Yes.
The church bells are going crazy out here.
Really punctuated my sentence there.
Did you coordinate this? No. Please continue.
Wrestling's meant a lot to me because it's been a way to I'll actually send it to you later, but I wrote a whole article about wrestling and family.
Okay.
So wrestling's meant a lot to me because my father watched it. I found out much later in my life, too, that my grandfather was a big fan as well. We lived in different cities, but I found it out later. My brother's watched it his whole life. I've watched it my whole life. And so it's been something that I've always done. I've made a whole bunch of good friends out of just attending shows as well.
Sure.
And now more than ever, I think, as being involved, not to pat myself on the back or anything, but being involved there has opened my eyes to a lot of it. It's been really interesting, and then just going to all these shows, watching everything available online, is wrestling is, I feel like, it's at a peak right now in terms of enjoyment level. Yeah,
that's interesting. You know, the point about the family angle is a fascinating one, because I find professional wrestling to have mastered the intergenerational reach. Right, you go to a show, you'll see a grandparent, a parent, and a grandchild. I can't say the same for mixed martial arts, you know, and pro wrestling can tap into so many different demographics, from obviously from teenagers to younger kids, to women in their 20s, to grandmothers and grandfathers. It's one of those storytelling combatives products that really has quite the reach within the market of audiences all over the world.
Absolutely.
What do you see as trends? I'm going to put you under the spot here.
Sure.
What trends do you see in pro wrestling in the next 5 to 10 years, be it indie or at the highest stage, New Japan, WWE, and so on? What do you think is going to happen in terms of content, in terms of in-ring style, in terms of audience demographics? Because we know more and more these bigger international companies are targeting bigger audiences in India, in Brazil, in China, and so on. Yeah.
I feel like there's an hour worth of stuff there to talk about.
Let me hear it.
I'll cut myself a bit short.
No, let's hear it.
Well, no, even the stuff you were saying before about family and everything, and everything after that, I feel like I could talk about it. As most kind of long-term fans know, wrestling at its core was about early on was about cultures. So that's why somebody like a Bruno Sammartino did so well in like in an Italian kind of centric market like the East Coast. Even we were talking about Rikito-san very early on, but the whole gimmick he had behind him was he was defending Japan's honor, even though he's North Korean. North Korean, very aware of him. Rikito-san was defending Japan's honor against the Americans. And so a lot of different areas really played on that, and to the point where even in the 80s you saw like kind of stereotype characters. And now you have, I feel like with the Rusas, with the Jinder Mahals and everything, you see that very affluent kind of take on still characters, not always portrayed as heels, mind you, so that's a pretty good thing. But that kind of gimmick is still there and will always be here, I believe. Even when
why is that though? Is it the programming? It
was. I think it's a legacy thing where it kind of started off of that, and promoters have seen that it's worked.
But if let's say just to challenge that, because I agree with what you're saying.
See how I could deviate? That we'll probably never get back to an original question.
It doesn't matter. We're having a conversation here. We're digging it.
Yeah.
I am, Matley. Yeah. You better be digging it.
Everyone behind us too, I think.
Yeah, we got fans out here. Can we get a round of applause for our episode here? No?
You'll have to put the sound effects into that later.
I'll fix that in.
Just Pontiac Silverdome.
Yes.
Rush, the Andre and the Hogan Body Slam. I want to hear that after.
Okay, I'll try. I'll try to squeeze it in. But what I wanted to ask was, like let's say right now we were in India, because pro wrestling is huge in India. So is freestyle and other styles of wrestling. And let's say we were at a show watching a pro wrestling event. Do you think we would see? Do you think we would see the same sort of stereotype in terms of you have a heel from, say, Russia and another heel, or in this case a heel from Pakistan, or like, do we see geopolitics portraying themselves in other pro wrestling markets?
I mean, I think so. I mean, I'm hesitant to steer away from the word of racism.
Sure.
But to say that you go over and look at different cultures.
Sure.
In Asia, for example, and I kind of know the Japanese scene and a little bit, not that there's much of a scene anymore, but there was the Korean scene and this and that. And, of course, what makes money is a Korean versus Japanese match.
Sure,
In India,
sure.
maybe the same idea. I mean, a lot of people were guessing that the whole push with Jinder Mahal as champion
Sure.
right now was due to their new market that they had. So that could easily be true.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they go over there or put TV over there, I am 100% sure they're going to put Jinder in front of everybody there. So
Right.
they're going to do
as they should.
Absolutely.
I mean,
they're going to do the old Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
Baby faces when they're in their country, heels when they're out.
Right.
Although the Harts were kind of different because they were still cheered everywhere except the U.S. So they were still
really.
Brett was a big baby face in Europe and everything.
In Germany, in particular.
Yeah. It wasn't Canada versus the world. It was kind of the world versus the States.
Right.
But with
right.
America being the biggest market, or at least the United States being the biggest market, it was very easy to do.
Is it the biggest market? Is it still the biggest market for pro wrestling?
I think so, because they're, as much as you see New Japan kind of start to make strides into the U.S. already has a lot of distribution across the world.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't looked into the numbers and such, but I can't assume anyone is even close to what the WWE is doing right now.
Right.
So yeah, they still have a big dominance over the global market.
Sure.
And their materials, and you just go online and see the website and different stuff, and message boards are translated. You can see different areas, different sort of languages going on.
Sure.
Yeah, and as for the trend going back there, I think NXT has really influenced a faster, more dynamic style. I again want to.
You think is that just a ripoff of is NXT? Well,
is NXT a ripoff of what, like Evolve or something?
Well, of all of the above, Evolve and Ring of Honor, and actually, I don't mean to interrupt.
I don't know if it's a ripoff. I mean,
Right.
that would be like saying that Evolve or Ring of Honor coined that style, and they never coined. That's not
never
their
did.
style.
Right.
But yeah, is
what sparked the alleged revival of indie pro wrestling?
Well, I
What do you think sparked?
I assume based on the same that a lot of the other people, because I'm not part of the inner workings there.
Sure.
I assume it was Triple H seeing what was out there and kind of trying to tailor towards and market towards a different target audience.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done very well, because the main roster versus NXT is still a very different product. So he saw a niche and exploited that. And now look at all the Beyond and Evolve and all the ROH guys who are signed over there. You look at just Google up an NXT roster. It looks like an old ROH roster right now at this point.
Exactly. This is why I said kind of a rip.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, they've always done that. Poached sort of superstars from everywhere.
Sure.
Superstars. I'm so ingrained in my head now. They've poached wrestlers from all over the place to kind of fit what they need. But I mean, more power to them. Guys are making more money. The style's getting out there. I mean, myself and I think some older fans see that there's a different way you market the main roster.
Yeah.
Like, who's getting up there in terms of being really popular right now? A guy like Braun Strowman.
Yes.
Who is a kind of what's the word here? But he's kind of a nostalgic act back to, like, you could easily see him fight Hulk Hogan.
Big
right?
time.
That
big
would work.
time.
And people, especially the older fans, want to see that. Like,
yeah.
I'd venture to say Braun Strowman is much more popular around like the mid-30s kind of demographic than he is with kids, and for good reason.
Right.
So, the two different styles. But in terms of kind of getting there, WWE will never and should never be that full-on 100% indie thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that their bread and butter and the way that they distinguish themselves from other companies is to be that kind of entertainment sort of factor. Everyone says it with such a dirty taste in their mouth, but I don't think there's any reason to. They have to have their vignettes. They have to have their promos. They have to have whatever they do. And because look at how many more like how bigger an audience you get kind of capturing all that. Example, I told you my dad was a fan and has been a fan, and I remember talking to him. Some of his earlier memories were Ric Flair versus Greg Valentine.
Wow.
Which obviously Mid-Atlantic, come over to Toronto. He was kind of raised in Toronto in his teenage years. is not about vignettes and well, arguably about promos too, but not about vignettes and kind of kooky kind of pop culture storylines and stuff. But he has progressed to the point where if he's sitting through 3 hours of Raw, he's going to fast forward through a lot of the wrestling, and he's going to see, what did that new tag team do? I don't SmackDown. I guess Breezango's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
What did Breezango do, or what did this guy do? And like he asks every week, hey, where's that R-Truth guy? I want to see him cut a promo.
Interesting.
Hey, he could care less about his match. He just
Right.
wants to see that
The
next
entertainment.
Goldust
Sure.
and R-Truth thing. And you know, if there's a fan like him who's been a fan for years and who wants to watch that, then there's obviously a place for it. I think we got to, especially in this kind of online kind of fans that we got to make sure that we're not kind of very, insular in our fandom, that we think our way is the only way.
Right.
I want to watch a 30-minute technical masterpiece,
Sure.
and I do,
Yeah.
but that's not everybody.
Sure.
And to talk amongst ourselves to say that's the only style of wrestling, it's crazy. Like, I know enough friends of mine who watch a lot of Lucha Underground.
Nice.
I don't really like Lucha Underground.
Why don't you like Lucha Underground? What's wrong with you?
To-
Why? No, seriously. Why don't you like Lucha Underground?
It's got a lot of those storylines and kind of the presentation to me. I'd rather watch like that kind of studio show, like that Memphis look too, and kind of like it's dirty, grainy,
Sure.
and kind of not too many jump cuts, and
Just like this podcast.
and I don't want to see some of the kind of the characters that they have on.
Yeah.
And I
Really? Lucha Underground?
Yeah, I don't. I'd rather watch I'd
heard-
rather watch like a Tim Thatcher, like a Drew Gulak, a Zack Sabre Jr. I find fascinating, and those guys wouldn't fit in Lucha Underground.
You don't think they would fit?
Not so much. Not to discredit any of them. Their style's amazing. Actually, I'm a huge fan of Aerostar. I think the stuff that he does is crazy. But I can't watch, what is it, an hour maybe?
Yeah, it's under.
hour.
Okay.
52 minutes, whatever.
Sure.
I can't watch 52 minutes of that. That's not it. If that was one match out of 8 on a show, great. 2, whatever. But to me, and that whole thing is not, discrediting Lucha Underground. They're obviously doing well enough for themselves.
Of course.
It's to say that everyone has different things that they like.
Wouldn't it be fair to say, based on what you're saying, there's a variety of different branches and genres of the style of pro wrestling?
Isn't that so cool about wrestling,
amazing.
though?
It's amazing. It's fascinating. It's almost you could do an anthropological, sociological research, a historical, cross-cultural analysis of all the different genres, the different factors, the different influencers that have formed a particular style.
I love to find the demographics of who's watching what.
Yes, and why and how. And it's fascinating because I cannot say, like, going back to that interesting point that you said, that solid point about, this is the one way. I think with anything in life, when someone says this is the one way,
they're probably wrong or outdated.
It's problematic
Yeah.
to say that, right? There are many ways to go from point A to point B, right?
I'm gonna segue there to
Sure.
MMA, and
Sure.
I don't know if I've told you, but I have UFC 1, 2, 3, 4 at home on DVD. I've been watching forever. I miss the occasional show, of course, and I wouldn't tell you I know 99%, like 100% of the roster. I know all the big names and such.
Yeah.
But let's go back.
Do you know Bastion Booger? Oh no, he's not an MMA guy, but
it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, he's banned. Him versus Tank Abbott.
Yeah.
Tank Abbott.
So good point there. What attracted people initially to UFC? It was a freak show.
It was.
The
Yes, it
old
was.
UFC was Tank Abbott fighting a guy who didn't know how to throw a punch.
Sure.
Or some other guy that was vast. Thankfully, they put the weight limits on there, but weight classes. But it was all that kind of, and to that point,
a lot of the marketing around the original UFC was to counter what what was popular at the time, generally speaking, which was, of course, pro boxing and pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? Their catchphrase, I think, was, well, it wasn't as real as you get, but it was essentially like, this is the realest of the real. Find out which style is the best martial art.
How wrestling gimmicky was old UFC?
It was 100% gimmicky. It was, I think it was the SEG group, which was a marketing group, who came up with that. So it was gimmickified, of course. Till this day, there's aspects of...
Tell me McGregor and Mayweather is not just going to be pro wrestling build-up. That whole...
The entire thing is pro wrestling
It's amazing. And,
you know? And people will
hopefully it's not Inoki Ali too, but actually I have...
not a lot of people even know about the Inoki Ali. Some of these millennials.
Let's bash on the youngins.
Yeah. There's only one way, right?
How dare you not know?
I'm kidding.
But no, I mean, it's going to be that, and I mean, thankfully they set up the rules. But we could go into a whole hour about that fight, anyways.
Sure.
But to say. Also, old UFC types. I had met Dan Severn. I have his autograph on one of those.
When did you meet him? Oh, you have an autograph on one of those?
Yeah, on the old ones.
When?
I met him in person. I want to say 3-4 years back.
Oh, okay, so he was always doing both styles.
Because he came to do maybe I'm too far. He came to do a training seminar here, MMA.
Okay.
In Ottawa, actually, was out near Hunt Club. And so I saw some flyers online.
Do you remember?
Oh God,
was it Bushido? Was it Nabil's dojo?
No.
Was this through? Was he working for? Was he Hannibal at the time or no? Okay.
To be honest, it was nothing to do with wrestling.
Okay.
It was just MMA. He came in,
Interesting.
and it wasn't a spectator thing. But I talked to the promoter, say, "Hey, I'll throw some money away if I can just come and watch the thing." And he said, "Yeah, okay."
Wow.
And
what a fan!
Dan Severn's amazing. Also,
Yeah.
former NWA champion, pioneers of that wrestling sort of MMA kind of style too, and super nice guy too. Absolutely a sweetheart.
Allegedly, he's never done any form of performance-enhancing drug in his career.
He looks it.
No, he looks it, and he's I don't know. I'm not his accountant, but supposedly too, he's very good with his money. Right, he's financially literate, unlike some of these other superstars, quote unquote. Not knocking that.
Unfortunately, you get a lot of money all of a sudden, and you don't know what to do with it. If I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd be broke by next week. I know that.
Really? What would you spend it on?
Let's buy my own indie ring and everything.
Really?
Run my promotion to the ground. Did you hear about the Moneyball winner in the States? This is, I want to say this is at least a decade ago.
Okay.
He won, I think it's called Moneyball in the States, the really big lottery.
Multi-million
dollar.
Yeah.
You can look it up. He probably in his 20s, 30s. He didn't look that old.
Yeah.
Won Moneyball. Opened up his own all-female
promotion. Yes.
Got Jimmy Hart and maybe some other big names, but I think Jimmy Hart to be his figurehead too, and he came out as a authority figure. Good on him, but probably went broke with that right away. It was super funny. I loved hearing stories like that. I was like,
let me put you in that
go
situation.
ahead.
Let's say tomorrow you win. After taxes, you win. Let's give you a small amount. Small. It's a big amount, but it's really small. Let's say you win $5 million after taxes.
$5 million goes a long way.
It does. It does. Well, what I'm saying, what would you do? How would you invest it? How would you invest in this creative industry?
In wrestling?
Yes. If you took half, like 2.5 for everything else, but
all right, I'm gonna give them all a shout out because they might
plug away.
No offense to you, but the only people that will probably watch my voice and listen to my voice will be my fiance and the small group of friends we have at C4 as well.
Okay.
So I give all the C4 wrecking crew some money here. Book your own guys, get a ring together, run a show that basically be us and our families watching and our friends, and then
so an exclusive show.
No, just no one else will show up. I'm sure.
How do you know that? You have enough money for a marketing campaign.
You know what? I've seen the same venue try to run different promotions. Fans here are very loyal to their promotion. I know fans here that go to C4 and they're like, can't miss C4, love C4.
Great brand, great,
amazing.
Great wrestling. Shout out to C4.
I owe everything to C4 and C4 management out there. I was hesitating whether to name them before, but I know they've been named in different podcasts. So Mark and Steven owe everything to you guys. And so I know people who go to C4 to show up to C4, but then that's it. the fans I'm talking about, won't go to other shows. And that's very apparent with shows like Battle War, C4, Acclaim 2, and fans are very, for better or for worse, very loyal to that one brand. So I'm saying, even if we get together this hypothetical money and run our own show, who knows will show up. But, there's a bunch of joke matches that we go back and forth on because we talk almost every day.
Right.
Go back and forth on. Wouldn't it be amazing to see this guy wrestle that guy? And
but here, like, so you have $5 million.
Yes.
You have 2.5 to invest in whatever creative industry.
Now, I'm going to get made fun of after this.
No,
for sure.
well, go ahead and laugh. Start laughing now, mofos. Whatever. Look, 2.5 million. Okay, so you're investing it in
paying off a few dets first.
Sure, okay.
Buy myself a new car.
What would you do for audience development? How would you promote this product?
So I guess the question is not just looking at money, but the question is what can you do well in wrestling, and how can you if I take it away from the hypothetical, what can you do well in wrestling, and what does indie wrestling cater towards or do well? And so I think
I bet you I want to hear what you say, but I bet you someone right now is watching this and saying, "Look at these two marks."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
well, absolutely. I know all the promoters watching this.
Yeah,
if there's any.
Hello, promoters. Yes.
But no, if I had money or just to run something, fan participation. You never want to make your promotion feel better than the fans, because, and there's some, promoters who go online, and I've seen this unfortunately on Twitter especially, some promoters who go online and rant against fans and do this, and then I'm like, you're killing your fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling is so small in terms of sort of the market. If you're especially in a city like Ottawa, you're vying for that same group of fans, and that percentage of people that you can possibly sell your show to. Don't go online and do anything like that. They don't do it in Ottawa, but I know other cities here and there.
Can you give me I don't need specifics, but give me an idea. Is it when promoter event organizers are upset with fans behaving in a particular way?
Behaving in a particular way, bashing them online. I've seen some people just take it out on them for poor attendance numbers, which is crazy.
Wait a minute. The event organizers?
Yeah, promoters,
yes,
bookers, this and that, however, different roles that they have. I'm just like, oh, maybe we should have done this. Or I remember even near WrestleMania weekend where 101 different feds were working in the same area.
Right.
And then one audience going, well, we didn't book this guy, or this happened to this, and we're all angry. And I'm like, I understand the stress, but really that's not the way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so treat your fans with respect. Book stuff that people want to watch.
So you're saying customer satisfaction?
Customer satisfaction.
Customer relations? This is what you're saying.
Know your audience. Book something that they want to watch. I, myself, book
research analysis in terms of your audience, demographic?
It's great. C4 and Acclaim, for real examples. C4 does not cater towards...
And you work for both of these.
I don't work for Acclaim, but I love it. And I'll give them a plug in just a second here. But C4 and Acclaim cater towards very different audiences.
Okay.
Again, I was saying how, wrestling fans, there's a finite number of them here. Mm-hmm. And, of course, people can bring their friends and stuff. But Acclaim, with good reason... offers a product that goes towards families and kids especially.
Okay.
They're very heavy into their women's wrestling as well. C4 doesn't do that. So intergender matches and such. And you see, it's great. Like, I love it. And for any of the federations that I kind of don't work for, I only work for two, but for any of the places I don't work for, I feel like Acclaim is just so much fun, because you go there and you see like the 6-year-old kid run up and down the aisle freaking out because Vanessa Craven just beat this guy and everything, and they're fully immersed. Rosemary Courtney Rush was here before. She's moved down to Florida, I believe, but she was like the headliner here as well, and like all these fans, little boys, little girls, getting into it, and they made very conscious efforts not to include very profanity and such. Maybe occasionally a swear will come out here and there, but their storylines are geared towards families, their characters as well. It's funny because you'll see the same wrestlers, but then they have kind of slightly toned down or different personas. I thought kids were going to run around
it's
too.
All good.
And so
we don't mind the bubbles. It's all good. More bubbles. Seriously,
we won't have to add special effects into here later.
There's people blowing bubbles, but yeah. Anyway.
It's like the bells and everything. I planned everything. Bells and whistles? No, bells and bubbles.
We've got an audience here, but I don't think they're here for us. But we'll pretend they're here for us.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Yeah.
They all got in comp though, so they must know somebody.
Yeah, they got connections.
Yeah. And so like C4 goes about the other way. So they promote a lot of I would say dream matches too, where they have a lot of American talent come in, and you get that kind of a smarter crowd in terms. Smart is a bad word. I use it in a wrestling word, and I don't mean intelligence. I mean more hip to what's happening in wrestling.
Sure.
Like Acclaim might not know a Chris Dickinson, but he comes over here in C4 and does great, like a Joey Janela and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they have that kind of audience. If you go there, and I would welcome anybody who is watching this, hasn't shown up to a C4 event, come to a C4 event, say hi to me.
Where can we find? You need to plug these. Where are they? Just
I was gonna wait till later, but I
integrate
it
into.
So you know what? Actually, Acclaim or APW, has a show coming up day after tomorrow. This won't be out by then, but all to say that they run fairly regularly, monthly, if not 5-6 weeks.
Okay.
Their big anniversary show, Starmageddon, is coming out.
How many years have they been?
7. This is gonna be their 7th anniversary.
Did you just say that, or
possibly?
No. Okay, sorry, my brain just went.
Okay. So they're running a huge show this Saturday.
Yeah.
They're actually downtown.
Yeah, right in Centertown. I got to tell you, location.
Okay, if you don't know the actual, you can all check everything out on Facebook. But if you don't know the actual location, check it out on Facebook. If you want bigger landmarks, they're near the bus station, near James Street Pub, walking distance, and
near the Staples.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right around the corner from there. Packed house. They had 14 sellouts in a row at one point. So that's well over a year of sellouts with them.
How much is that to play devil's advocate? Sure, of course, it's the product, the athletes, the competitors, the workers, whatever you want to call them. How much is that location too? Because that is you're right in Centertown.
They were in Greeley, and
from one extreme to the other.
Greeley, they moved.
What brought them downtown?
Probably one. I haven't spoken to the promoter about it, but probably knew there was a fan base here and could tap into that. And they've I never went to a Greeley show, but fan base or audience has probably quadrupled since then, I'd say. So it's been a great move for them. They've been putting on stellar shows too. I really got to
stellar shows. I
really got to say that it's a lot of fun. They've 14 sellouts in a row. Kind of it shows you what kind of quality they have too. You can check out their Facebook, Twitter, everything to find out their next bunch of shows and everything coming up as well. Starmageddon will be huge. You'll probably read the results. They don't have DVDs out yet, but come to the live show. They have a good talent base, mostly from Ontario and Quebec as well. They focus on there. A lot of women's wrestlers, kid friendly. That generational thing you're talking about. I've seen grandparents or grandfathers bring their granddaughters and everything to show, and it's been cool. And
it's important. I think it kind of continues. It's it's continuity of the fans, right? And it's key for audience development. Speaking
about continuity too, I was speaking to the promoter, and he really he's really happy that his promotion also runs with a lot of continuing of storylines and such too. He's really storyline heavy. He wants to be.
Okay.
And so years back, I've been to feds where one show to the next, nothing makes sense. And it really bothers me because I want stuff to make sense. And Acclaim does an excellent job of that. And kind of flipping on there too, the other promotion I was talking about, C4.
Yes.
They're running their next huge. I'll probably put a timestamp on this when I post it up because it's their big thing. C4 in conjunction with other companies, Acclaim, IWS, ISW, they all kind of help promote it and or put a lot of stuff in their auctions as well, is running their next big show. It's inarguably the most important show of the year because 100%
It's
of
the annual.
Fighting Back.
Yeah,
Fighting Back 7 right now, 2017.
Yeah.
They 100% of the proceeds, and it's not one of those.
It's for real.
It's not. Yeah.
It's
I know some
100%
scams
legit.
have come up some online
Yeah.
here and there, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, but it's 100% real. 100% of the proceeds of ticket sales go towards the Canadian Cancer Society.
Mhm.
They have so far raised approximately, in the last 6 years alone, $120,000.
Outstanding. That's professional wrestling in Ottawa.
You can see
professional wrestling.
Yeah, you can see the big checks they've made out to the Canadian Cancer Society as well. It's an outstanding effort by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Donating their time.
Right.
A lot of services and goods are auctioned off as well. I buy every year and I want to donate, and I urge you guys to check out their Facebook for a lot of the auctions going on. Of course, attend the shows as well. I'd be remiss not to mention that ISW and Newfound Legacy. New Legacy, sorry. I'm not on it, but I hear about it all the time. They do streaming of video game streaming and such.
Right.
And they've raised tens of thousands of dollars over the year. They go all out, really.
Yeah.
All these people come together for this worthy cause. For Frank Moret, a departed wrestler here who was friends with a lot of the same. Yeah, he's gone through a different name, Stinky the homeless guy. Bash Bison as well,
yes.
And different names, but Frank, as most people know him, and they raise money. Awesome cause, awesome show too.
Check it out. Well, what's the
big
website
headline?
again?
Right now, check them out on Facebook. They have much more of a presence there, and you can see all the link there. But Fighting Back, Wrestling with Cancer, and headlined, you'll probably be really excited by this too, but Mike Bailey and Tom Lawler, who you know from the UFC.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
of course. And he's done all those spectacular entrances while he's in the UFC.
Always a wrestling fan. You know, Hulk
yeah.
Hogan and all that stuff.
It's awesome.
And yeah, he is a wrestling fan through and through.
Actually, it's funny because before we started recording, we spoke about
Good
how
amount of water I have left.
that's all you need. You were at the show, the Great North Wrestling original show a decade ago, yes, at the Super X, and I know that Great North Wrestling will be hosting their 10-year anniversary August 5th, I believe. Check out the website, Great North Wrestling.
Very cool, in Ottawa.
Yes,
in Ottawa.
The Hannibal TV. Check them out there. This is a 10th year anniversary, and they're bringing back all the big names from Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, PCO, of course,
legend.
Yes,
absolutely, is making his big return, and there's a few other guys on there too. JTG from Crime Time.
Yes.
So people you will recognize. Go see that as well. Help support everybody in the
big
area.
Time,
really.
Big time. I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's so we're in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, of course. Ottawa, Ottawa's here. Gatino's over there. And
by the way, Fighting Back. I don't know if I mentioned the date.
Mention it.
August 12th. Saturday, August 12th.
Saturday, August 12th, Fighting Back. So in this city alone, there's 3 active pro wrestling promotions.
See, in the heart of downtown.
I mean Ottawa, Gatineau.
Gatineau, yeah. There's and some other promotions run sporadically. I can't say I know them too well. Mm-hmm. Again, most of my wrestling fandom came from Montreal as well.
Right.
Born and raised in Montreal.
Montréalais.
Exactement.
Ouais.
On peut faire ça en français.
Vas-y, on continue en français. Alors, tu viens juste de dire qu'il y en a d'autres promotions dans
il y a d'autres promotions qui viennent ici aussi, mais I'm not as familiar with them. I'm going to switch back to English.
Fair enough, okay.
I'm not as familiar with them. I wouldn't say GNW runs here regularly either, but they do shows here, and companies will come in. I mean, Chikara came in here. Other companies, I think Big Time maybe is out there as well. Sorry, again, not too familiar, but right on Montreal Road would be C4, and right downtown would be Acclaim. So
That's
those are your 2 ones.
Yeah.
They also, thankfully, because they share a lot of the roster as well, don't run on the same dates, so you don't have to pick one or the other.
That's interesting because I noticed in the mixed martial arts scene, at the amateur scene, sometimes shows will double book each other. Well, one night,
why
and
cannibalize your audience here?
I do not understand that. I get there
at the indie level.
There's competition.
I understand when WWE comes into to
well,
Montreal on the same day, which I'm pretty sure was an accident. But when that happens,
but it's I guess the question in my mind is, you realize that, of course, everyone is in competition, but you can still be even more competitive. And I'm saying this not as a promoter, but as a fan and as someone who attends these events, whatever, so on and so forth, you can still put on a show and still make even more money if you can somewhat collaborate with each other respectfully.
Absolutely. Like I was saying.
And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to, ruffle any.
Well, like I was saying, Acclaim ran that streak of 14 sellouts in their venue. And C4, although not in the exact same spot, driving distance, over at the Vanier Columbus Club. And they were able to run sellouts in their show. Then a week later, sellouts at Acclaim. And so 2 promotions in the same month. We're still able to do that. I mean, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
There's options out there, places to have fun, places for wrestlers to work, and that you can still have audiences come in and sell out the places. It's great. And
last question for you, sir.
Yes.
Give the audience, if there is an audience for this, I think so. I've been doing this for a while, kind of. Give us 3 reasons why we should attend a pro wrestling event. 3 keywords as to why we should attend.
They have to be bullet points, or can
sure,
I go a sentence? Short.
Yeah, super short sentence or bullet.
Super short sentence. Okay. Fun. Wrestling, if not anything. If it's not fun, don't go. Stop participating. Stop going. Wrestling's fun.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Testify.
Wrestling's fun. 2, sense of community. Like is evidenced by fighting back. You go as well, and I mean, there's great things happening. I know enough promotions out there doing some sort of charity work as well. Awesome.
They raised over $100,000 for cancer.
Yeah, $120,000. Like,
damn.
In this audience here.
Yeah,
That's amazing. And
that
of
is
course,
amazing.
they have people from around the world donating as well.
Sure.
But amazing effort. Since community too, and I just think, hey, it's a great fun thing to do on a Saturday or a Friday too. Come on out. Even if you're not a huge fan, come on out with some friends. I have met plenty of people who have never been to an indie show, came out, have a great time. I've brought some people.
Right.
I've met some people, mutual friends, this and that. And you come out, it might be a new experience and everything. They're going to pro wrestling, attending pro wrestling, whether it be working there or just attending for fun, my favorite thing in the world.
You heard the man. Make sure you check out all these events. Thank you very much for your time. And
Can I plug one more thing before we go?
Go ahead.
Good.
Please.
All right. By the way, this went by like this.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm trying to keep it under 45 minutes, but Facebook limit on video is 45.
We'll cut a minute or 2 out there as well. So then the other place I work, and most people in Ottawa especially might know me, whatever. Will know me from C4 Wrestling, Capital City Championship Combat. But as well, I do work in Montreal. I've been working with TC Pro Dojo, which is also Torture Chamber, led by Drew Onyx. He's had a lot of fame recently because of Kevin Owens giving him a bunch of shout-outs, doing a bit of training over there at Torture Chamber. They run shows. Last show, and that was 2 days before I met you.
Oh, yeah.
They ran a show in Rivière-des-Loups, 1,500 people.
Wow.
My favorite experience, just being in that big a crowd and commentating for the entire show there. Check it out. If you want to train, there's actually, I know of 2 people in Ottawa who drive all the way to Montreal to get training there. They get people from all over the place training with them. Their next big show, too, straight out of Chamber, September 30th. I know because that's 1 week after my wedding. Yeah, and come on out to those shows as well. Everyone in the region, Ottawa, very short drive to get to Montreal to watch a great quality show. Look them up for training. Look them up for old DVDs as well. And, TC Pro Dojo. Check them out on Facebook, etc. Yeah.
You heard the man. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.